live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Thanksgiving. As we go in depth, you can always get in touch with us during the show. You can use the hashtag 2 News Live if you'd like to join in on the conversation. Easiest way to get in touch, though, on the socials, on Facebook, on X, on Instagram. Send it here, the smoke, and this. See the vehicle in question here take flight right about here. Look at the top of your screen.
Extraordinarily high rate of speed that led to the crash into the median that sent the vehicle airborne. And when you see this video, your jaw will drop in disbelief at how this went so high over an 8-foot high fence. It's rather extraordinary.
A lot of speculation as to what took place, of course, as we got new information as all of this was very fluid. And, you know, the FBI there in Buffalo continuing to investigate what led to this crash, whether it involved, of course, that car traveling at a high rate of speed, if there were any intentions here. Initially, other border crossings were closed. Those have been since reopened. The FAA did say that the Buffalo Niagara Airport was closed too. The governor reiterated that that was not the case, so there is conflicting information throughout the day. What the governor did maintain is that there was no indication of terrorist activity involved here. Breaking news alert on your phone today. As soon as the information hit our newsroom, we sent it out to get breaking updates like this one sent to your phone. All you need to do is download the 2 News mobile app. Let's get to your forecast here. Let's see if Trent Parker's going to walk into frame as he does. Yeah, a casual stroll here.
Good evening.
2 News Live at 5:30. Good evening. He gets right in the middle here. Yeah. All right, I love it. We're obviously looking at the ski season and what is heading our way. The folks at Alta putting out today that they are going to spin a couple lifts, Wildcat and Collins, out of that main area. Well, there you go. 2 best from Trent. That's happening on Saturday. Forget Supreme and Sugarloaf. Forget Catherine's.
Yeah,
You're going to have to hike up there. Yeah. That's the only way to get there. Trent, what are you looking at in terms of the forecast? I know if you're traveling around this time of year, a lot of people going to hit the roads. Are there any concerns?
I mean, not so much in the next 24 hours or so, but once we get into Thursday evening, especially if you have plans to go out Thursday night to someone's house and then try to get back home later in the evening, maybe even Friday morning if you're going black shopping. I think those are the real concerning areas that we're watching for. After that, it's really not all that that complicated as far as the rest of the weekend and into early next week. We're just dealing with some colder temperatures, Brian.
Well, of course, you can do your Black Friday shopping online. That might alleviate some of those headaches.
Exactly.
Let's get to your forecast.
Yeah, of course. Let's start right here first. Brighton and Solitude tomorrow may be picking up 1 to 3 inches. So these totals are by 4 o'clock. So we're not expecting a whole lot through 4 p.m. And then 5 to 10 potentially by 4 p.m. on Friday as the storm really starts to get going and we get that cold air filtering in. And it's looking like it should be a pretty good one as far as those snow liquid ratios that we talked about last time. Really light, dry, fluffy snow falling up at the higher elevations. And we could see some down here in the valleys as well. But those north winds are going to be cranking, especially up at the higher elevations, the higher peaks. Here's your opening day updated list. Now we have 3 resorts open. Alta moving from the bottom towards the top November 25th. This Saturday, looking for an opening. Snowbird closer to November 30th, the 1st of December, the first weekend of December. Deer Valley falls right behind, and then we're still waiting on Brighton and Snow Basin. Though I saw a couple of videos today from Brighton, and they've got that new crest lift spinning, and they're trying to test things out. Hopefully get that going in the next week or so. All right, future track as we take you through the rest of the night tonight. Just some clear skies for much of the state, really. Dealing with a couple of high clouds off to our north and west. Eventually, things start to increase over the night on Thursday. Right around dinner time is when we could see it. So between 2 and 5 o'clock is when we'll really see that precipitation onset here across the Wasatch Front. And as it does so, it's working directly from west to east pretty much. So we could also see some snow here along I-15 if your travel plans take you down through central Utah, again towards Scipio and Cedar City, really the main focus point down there in that area. And then the low kind of swings around and we get these easterly winds coming through the canyon. So that kind of shuts off the precipitation, at least Salt Lake City north. And we could see some really gusty winds, potentially as high as 50 to 60 miles an hour in some of those canyon wind-prone areas, such as Farmington Canyon, up towards Weber, and also up by the University of Utah as well. Not a whole lot of easterly winds south of Salt Lake City, but we do still see snow through much of the morning on Friday, especially towards Tooele, Provo, Utah County, and again, pretty much the entire I-15 corridor down through Cedar City and the northeastern Utah. This is likely going to be your first minor snow accumulation for the season out there towards the Uinta Basin, Duchesne, Vernal. And then the low kind of just spins out of here. And Saturday morning, we're left with potentially a really marginal lake effect set up. And these winds are going to be cranking out of the northeast. So mostly concerned about these areas west of Salt Lake County. So Tooele, potentially Skull Valley over in that area. Just a couple of lingering snow showers for the rest of the mountains across the state. In St. George on Turkey Day, 58, that's the high that we're going for, and then we're starting to cool off on Friday, keeping a little bit of a chance of rain going there through Friday morning, and then we're cooling off down into the 40s Saturday, Sunday, Monday back into 51, but check out all those clear skies for the next several days down there in St. George once we get past these next couple. Salt Lake City dealing with a mix of rain and snow tomorrow, likely all rain before about 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And then we're watching for that changeover. The exact details on that timing still need to be ironed out. So it could potentially change over as late as maybe 1 a.m. Friday morning, but it is looking likely that we'll get a changeover sometime late in the evening Thursday. Dealing with those snow showers very early in the morning on Friday. So like I said, if you have Black Friday shopping plans to get out there, not only are you going to be dealing with some snow showers, potentially a little bit of some slick roads, but you also will be dealing with those easterly winds, especially up towards Farmington if you're going shopping at those malls. And then we're into the 30s for highs, 35, 36 on Sunday. Really cold air settling in through the rest of next week. We're only getting up to 41 by Wednesday, and our normal high is closer to 47. And I might as well bring up that Alta Snowbird 7-day because I know how much you just love to see this, Brian. A couple snowflakes here Thursday and Friday. And then look at these temperatures. Oh, wow. So if you're going skiing this weekend, especially in the mornings, we're going to be dealing with some single-digit lows. Normal high for this time of year is just about freezing.
All right, well, it's here. A little advance in the cool down for the temps. Real quick, maybe a little dusting for our friends in the basin. Hope to see our friends at Buckskin Hills get on the map.
Get the snow guns firing up. December 22nd, looking forward to their opening. All
right, thank you, Trent. Remember to download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. You can get updated forecasts, a live radar right at the palm of your hand on your phone. The app is free to download. Let's go in depth on a story we've been talking about here since some news broke yesterday. The University of Utah says an interim coach will lead out its nationally ranked gymnastics program, affectionately known as the Red Rocks. This follows the announcement of head coach Tom Fardon's departure. Fardon was originally placed on leave about a week ago, and then the school announced a mutual agreement to part ways last night. Ariel Harrison joining us live now. Been looking into this a little bit further today. I know it's been tough to get folks to speak on it because it's very fresh. It involves personnel matters, but have you been able to get in touch with anyone on campus?
Well, Brian, people on campus are on break, but throughout this time we've been working on this story and days ahead and, well, before now and then up to this point. Students have expressed support for those students or student athletes, I should say, that came forward with concerns. But yeah, lots of students on break at this point. I will say, just in working on this story today, I reached out to former student athletes who were coached under Fardon. One that got back to me saying that she wishes the team the very best going forward. Also that the program is strong and will prevail. You mentioned it yourself, Brian, that this is a program that has been regularly nationally ranked. Coach Fardon joined the coaching staff at U of U for the women's gymnastics team back in 2011. He would become the sole head coach, leading that team to a number of successful again, being nationally ranked. So he's someone, as we've spoken with former student athletes, several that I spoke with who came out in support of him when these abuse claims regarding verbal, emotional abuse that was investigated back in September, they supported him. But the feeling on campus, as we've spoken with people who are taking in this story, is that they support the people who've, came out sharing their story and feelings of the things that were investigated during this time by an independent firm that the U hired. It was just in the last month that a gymnast on the team, Brian, actually decided to retire from the program completely and withdrew from the university as a student, citing claims of abuse that she claims to have endured being on that team. So it was just after that the University in the weeks to follow came out with this announcement. There's not a lot of information on it at this point other than what they've said. I know we let out with this information you just shared that they've selected an interim coach for the time being, but many are interested in this. This is a nationally ranked program that the gymnasts do really well. The U wants to continue that, the trend. They want the teams to do well, but they also want the athletes to be taken care of. So I'm sure that we'll continue to learn more and more about it as we cover it. But it's an unfolding situation, I'll say.
Ariel Harrison covering the latest for us. And of course, Ariel, thank you. And it's when it comes to personnel matters, a lot of them are always held pretty tight. So there's a good chance we don't learn a lot of that information either for a long time or even ever in some of these instances. But we've been covering allegations inside the program for a couple of months now. And this happens just as today, a Utah Tech University coach for one of the programs there was also suspended for 2 games for a matter that also involved something with the program down there. And if you'd like to read that article, it is also on our website, KUTV.com. All right, a 2 News investigation gets results for a Salt Lake neighborhood. We've been reporting on a local man who's been terrorizing neighbors for years. Neighbors frightened, of course, because the man was released from custody over and over again until about a week ago. Chief Investigative Reporter Wendy Halloran joining us now. Wendy, I know you've released a number of pieces on this over the last few days. What are some of the highlights?
Well, Maurice Ruffel clearly has mental illness, and the reporting has shown that he's not getting the treatment that he needs, and he is terrorizing the neighborhood in many different ways. He has been convicted of a 3rd-degree felony for vulnerable adult abuse against his father. He attacked his father in 2021, tried to kill him, choked him. He also has assaulted 2 Salt Lake police officers, convicted on one of those cases there. It shows a pattern of behavior that is escalating. That's what our reporting has shown over the past week. It's been almost a week now, but I've been working on this series of investigative reports for several months now. Very concerning. It has come to a head to the point where the neighbors reached out to us, obviously, but also reached out to the Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office for help because he has reoffended. They have claimed that the DA's office has taken too long to screen the cases against him, too long to prosecute, and they're sitting ducks. Basically is what the reporting has shown.
So what do the neighbors in this instance and those that have been basically at the wrath of this individual, what do they want to see happen next?
Well, they want him removed from the neighborhood, but they also want to feel safe, but they want him to get the help that he needs as well. I mean, they do have some compassion for him despite the fact that he is terrorizing the neighborhood. So the report that I have coming up at 6 tonight, we did get some action, some results, which I'm very grateful to Adult Probation and Parole, because the minute I picked up the phone and called the executive director of the Utah Department of Corrections, APMP is under the Utah Department of Corrections, they took immediate action. I told them there were videos, visual evidence showing him violating civil stalking injunctions currently as late as November 3rd. We're not talking about past cases, we're talking about behavior that is continuing to be menacing, intimidating, and includes death threats.
Again, that piece coming up tonight on 2 News at 6 o'clock. Wendy, thank you. Of course, if you'd like to go back and watch any of Wendy's prior reports on this, you can do so by heading to our website right now, KUTV.com. We've got a number of them linked there. And you can also find these on the 2 News mobile app. So that'll do it for us here on 2 News Live. We're getting the holiday off, apparently. Thursday, Friday.
Some of us do.
Well, I'll be here working. But the show gets a little bit of a break. So thanks for joining us. Trent, any final words here about travel concerns or just folks that going to be traveling across the state here over the next 2 days?
Yeah, I mean, if you're cooking your turkey outside, make sure you're not spending too much time outside. It's going to be pretty cold and wet. But other than that, stay safe. Make sure you've got those snow tires, especially if you're traveling up into the higher elevations. Yeah, have a good time. Latest on the forecast on our website, KUTV.com, also on air during our newscast as well. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday with family and friends. We'll see you back here for 2 News Live on Monday at 5:30. Good night.